Hi everyone, how is everybody doing? Good. Busy news week. A lot been happening on the front of South Africa versus the United States. There's a lot of chatter and talk and discussion online with regards to the South African ambassador being considered as persona non grata in the United States, which there've been varying views on this issue. And you start to see now certain views emerging, for instance, among certain black South Africans who, like myself, thought that those utterances by the South African ambassador to the United States were unfortunate. But I just wanted to focus myself on the reactions of white South Africans, which I find to be very unfortunate, actually. And I have to ask again that the question that I've asked in videos that I made before directed to white South Africans, the question was, what exactly do you guys want? What do you want? It's for me. This is a question that is very important, regardless of all the differences that South Africa has with the United States. Because one have to consider that, for instance, AfriForum, for instance, is the only prominent organization that I know whose membership is exclusively white, or let's just say exclusively of one race. And they even had a question been asked to them by another news media organization in terms of, can a black person be the CEO of AfriForum? And the answer was no. And one has to juxtapose that with when that left-wing party, Black First, Land First, was taken to court by some of these Afrikaner extremist groups and was considered unconstitutional because they were also a party that is exclusively for one racial group. But here is a group that is for one racial group. No one is taken into court, and everybody knows that a black person can lead a forum. But if a black organization does the same, that organization will be taken by the same sympathizers of those groups, like the Freedom Front Plus, Solidarity, to court to declare them as unconstitutional. Number one. Number two, Orania is one of the two communities in South Africa that are race-based. There's another one near Pretoria, another establishment for Afrikaners only. And there's no other community in the country that is exclusively for one racial group, or even one ethnicity. You can say, yes, there's certain groups, there's certain communities that are more than 99% Zulu or Xhosa or Venda. You'll find people of other races living there side by side of those people without any problems, without any discrimination. But there isn't any constitution in any of those groups that says that we only exist for the sole benefit and purpose of this group. But white Afrikaner people are the only people who have communities that are one race only, in one ethnic group only. And then you have situations like white South Africans are complaining about inability to find employment in South Africa because of what race, where the unemployment rate in the country is roughly 35%. I'm talking like, strictly speaking, the strict definition of unemployment. But the unemployment rate of white South Africans, which is the lowest in the country, is 9%. And you are telling me that you can't find jobs because of race-based laws, while there's no other group in the country that is as employed as you are. So the question then goes again to say, what do you want? What do you want? Because do you want full employment? Because that's what apartheid government was promising and guaranteeing and delivered, that by end of 1975, white South Africans had achieved full employment. I touched this on a prior video as well, based on the issue that apartheid was based on the issue of eliminating white poverty. So really the question is that what is exactly do you want? And you say, okay, 9%, your unemployment rate is 9%. That's more than 9, 18, 27, 36. That is four times less than the national unemployment rate. And you are the ones who can't find jobs. Folks, we can go down the list of who owns businesses in South Africa. White South Africans, I just need you folks to be honest. Be honest. What is it really that you want? Because if I'm looking at the data, the demographic information, surveys, demographic surveys and all of that, there is no way that anyone can look at you and says that you are at the receiving end of any form of discrimination. So what exactly is it you want? Because also, even when we complain about the corruption of the African National Congress, which a lot of us do, I get a sense that what white South Africans are complaining about is that the reason why this government is corrupt is because of the color of its skin. That's the underlying message that we get. That it seems to me that the overarching theme here is that you are tying corruption and competence with race. That is what I'm getting. Because based on the thousands of comments that I've seen, also, I mean, even when you see, like, in certain instances where certain South African parastatals are led by very qualified black executives who have multiple qualifications, compared to when that same parastatal is being led by a white South African who only has a matric. And white South Africans are not complaining about that white South African who has a matric, who's running a parastatal as a CEO, compared to when there is a black executive who has more than 30 years of executive experience, MBA, undergraduate degrees, postgraduate degrees, sometimes from universities from all over the world. It's all of these issues of circumstantial evidence that makes me want to ask the question in terms of what exactly do you want? What do you want? Because this issue, for instance, of the ambassador and his comments were so unfortunate, and I think that they set back the relationship between South Africa and the United States back substantially, and it's going to be very difficult to overcome those actions. A friend of mine has suggested that the only thing that can solve this thing is if the ANC government issues a public apology. And I don't see that happening. And I agree that they have to issue a public apology. But what I wanted to say with regards to that is that the comments of white South Africans, it doesn't give me the idea that these people want South Africa to prosper. It doesn't seem to me that we are in the same team with these people. It seems to me that you are fighting for other things other than the common good, the common success, and the collective prosperity of South Africa. That's the picture that I get, and for me, it doesn't. It is not lost to me as someone who has been all over the world that I've never and have done life with all kinds of people, races, creeds, all kinds of white people, for instance, Europe, the United States, whites that I've met in Central America and places like that, that I've never met a group of white people that is as so racist as South Africans, to the point that in my mind that, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that white people are the most racist people in the world. No, that's not. I have other opinions about that, because I think that Asians are the most racist people. That's still for another day. I think that when you're looking at white people globally, and then you rank them in terms of the most racist, I find that white South Africans are the most racist, white folks I've ever come across. And I've dealt with rednecks and hillbillies and all of those folks, if you want to call them those names. Sorry to put it that way. It's just that if you say redneck, hillbilly, people will know what you're talking about. And I find those people to be benign and friendly compared to white South Africans. So there's a problem. There's a problem in the community, in the white community in South Africa, that seriously needs to be dealt with. Because folks, the level of vitriol that you have can't rationally be justified to be about the issues that are plaguing South Africa: corruption, incompetence, looting, embezzlement of funds. Your vitriol is so hateful, which is why it has to be asked in terms of what is your problem? What is your problem? And really, a part of me also makes me, a part of me is sort of grateful that I don't have to deal with you as much as I had to when my life was still in South Africa, because dealing with you is very difficult. And also, white South Africans, you do not have a good report among the nations that you go and live amongst, especially where you are found in large numbers, like Australia and New Zealand. The amount of racist vitriol that white South Africans who live in these areas like Australia and New Zealand is beyond disgusting. And it's uniquely coming from you. It's uniquely coming from you. So really, there is a problem that you guys need to deal with. And I just want to know, Uti, what's your problem? What's the problem? Because your problem is not ANC's corruption and ANC's incompetence. Your problem, seemingly to me, is that your problem is the color of the skin of this government. That is what seems to me to be the underlying problem of all of your issues that you have with the ANC government. The race. That seems to me to be the issue, the pervading issue, and the attributing of corruption to race, attributing of incompetence to race. Folks, you have a problem. You have a serious problem, and you need to deal with it. And this generation of white South Africans need to deal with this thing and deal with it now and put an end to it. Yeah. yeah, anyways, I think that's really what has come out for me looking at this unfortunate incident that has come up from the the ambassador to the United States who went to Washington D.C. and shit on him on his pants. Like I don't understand what the guy was doing. Yeah, but anyways, and what has come out of this is that the vitriol coming from white South Africans is just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyways, folks, till the next time.